Good morning, everybody. This is Victoria, your dog guru, and today we have a special guest on our show. He actually has a pit bull, and it's going to be part of our big feature this week. We're covering everything pit bull related. So we're going to have different guests sharing their stories about their pit bulls, how they ended up with them, what the breed is like to live with. So if you have a pit bull or you love pit bulls, this is your week because we'll be airing episodes about them all week long. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce our first pit bull parent of the week.
And you are?
Matthew Dickerson.
So excited to talk to you, Matt. Tell me about your dog. What's his name?
His name is Dobby.
He's super cute. I've seen a photo of him. So what do Dobby's hobbies include? What does he like to do?
He's very hyperactive and he likes to run around and play. He's a huge cuddler, so I know my girlfriend loves him to sleep in the bed with her.
So he's a little spoiled.
Oh, he's overly spoiled.
And what kind of breed is he?
He's a red-nosed pit bull.
Okay, so how did you come by becoming Dobby's new family? Did you get him through adoption or did you go to a breeder?
My girlfriend actually works at a nursing clinic.
Oh, okay.
And one of the doctors was driving down the road here in Raleigh, North Carolina, and she saw him running down the road, I guess just kind of living on the streets.
Okay.
And, she stopped the car and opened the door, and he just ran and jumped in.
Oh.
So he was as friendly as could be, and she emailed out everybody at the company to see if anyone wanted to adopt him. He was very malnourished, so it was, I guess going out on a string of trying to find somebody who would take him in.
Well, and sometimes I feel like dogs pick us. I had a similar thing. My dog, my pit, he was in a room full of other dogs, and you could just see the look on his face, like, I don't belong here. Take me away from here.
Yes, and that's exactly how we felt when we went to see him the first time. He actually would not come near me. He maybe because of his former life, but he kind of stayed away from on the other side of the room from me and near my girlfriend. And then he gave her a look during it, kind of looked back at her and just gave her this really sweet look, like, take me home.
Please, I'm yours. I know that you use a GoPro with Dobby. And you have a YouTube channel. So I'm going to include that in the show notes. But tell me about his video adventures.
Since we've had him, we've been trying to take as many trips as possible just because he was going outdoors and going on walks. So, we try and do fun things together. And we've hiked a mountain recently. We went down to the beach this past year for his 1-year adoption anniversary date.
Oh, that's so cute.
Just anything we can do to have fun. Me and him just love going out and hanging out.
Have you ever run into kind of like the pit bull stigma where people, cross the other side of the street or something when they see your dog, or has he kind of had a warm welcome?
I get the half and half. So, depending on the person, it's the stigma of I'm scared. I don't want to be in the same aisle as this dog in PetSmart.
Right.
Or other people who want to come up and pet them because they love pit bulls and had one or have one, and just absolutely just want to know everything about them and pet them, and he's a very friendly dog, so he's very inviting as well.
Had you ever had a pit bull before?
We do. We have a 10 to 11-year-old pit bull that my girlfriend got back in college. She's much bigger than Dobby, but she's old.
Okay, so she's in the senior stage of life.
Correct. Yeah, she's her grandma.
So how did they get along when you first brought Dobby home?
That was a first for us. Being that she's a female and Dobby's a male, right when we brought him in, they did okay for the first couple of weeks because he kind of stayed to himself, and then as he gradually, felt more comfortable being around us and her, they kind of started to go at it a little bit. So we had to actually hire in a person to teach us how to just work with the dogs and do what we needed to do. And we learned that the female dog, it was more or less becoming the dominant dog.
Yep.
So it was, something that we didn't understand prior, and it just had to happen. So it took a couple of months, and now they're best friends.
Well, and I think that's an important thing to bring up, actually, because a lot of people don't realize that regardless of what breed you bring home, there's always going to be a dominant personality, and there's always going to be somebody trying to vie for that role until they've established them. And she was probably like, "Well, I'm large and in charge, and I was here first. You're the newbie."
Absolutely. She had living on her own with Courtney for 7-8 years. Not ever had to share with another dog, and he was fighting for a place. As far as and attention and love, and so he eventually gave in, and like I said, now he kind of treats her like she's his mom. So,
well, and that's great, because I think it's important to cite a couple of things when it comes to this breed. I think there's one huge misconception that they're dog aggressive, and I am trying to change that stigma. In fact, I've spent about 15 years trying to do exactly that. The other thing is that I myself have a pit bull, like I mentioned earlier. And throughout the years, we had a board and train program where dogs would come to us, and we would work on diagnosis, treatment, and rehabilitation of aggression and anxiety. But my forte was aggression. And we had every breed come through, with the worst social problems ever. And our pit bull successfully turned all of those dogs around. I mean, I did the training, but he made them comfortable. He was like a nurse almost. He used to go and check on them. And I feel like that's a part of the breed that isn't talked about enough. And when I saw Dobby's photo, I was like, oh my goodness, his ears are to die for. And then when you told me that he had a GoPro, I was like, he has to be on the show. They just have to be on the show. Now, you've had them all. How long have you had Dobby now?
We've had him a little over a year.
Okay. And you guys, and the older dog, I'm assuming, stays home while Dobby goes on his adventures?
We've been taking her when we can. Generally we try and find somewhere that's dog friendly if we're staying the weekend. And, we try and do things that she can do as well. She has a bad hip. So this past, probably about a month ago, we climbed a mountain near North Carolina, or hiked a mountain, and we figured that would probably be her last, chance to get outdoors and really do something like that. So now we kind of just keep it simple with her and let the young gun.
Yeah, let him go to town.
Exactly.
Would you ever, after having him, want another pit? I mean, I know you had one beforehand, but it sounds like Dobby was kind of the couple dog, and before that it was just the lonesome gun over there.
Right. Well, prior to getting Dobby, I always wanted a chocolate lab. I grew up with a lab, and I always thought they were wonderful dogs. Mm-hmm. And since we've gotten Dobby, not that my mind has changed about labs, but I'm now one of those avid pit bull lovers, as far as they're just the sweetest and most caring dogs. I mean, kind of like you said earlier, they have what seems like a sixth sense of people's feelings, and understanding their body language, and who to be nice to, who to be around, and seeing that we accept people in our house, or so forth.
So have you, kind of when you're out on walks, I know you take him hiking and things like that, but when you're out on walks with him, what's his general reaction when he sees somebody new?
Oh, he usually he looks at him and he grins ear to ear and hangs his tongue out, and they come running over and laughing. And
so he's a social guy.
Absolutely, he's a stud. Yeah.
Do you have any favorites? Do you have any favorite stories about Dobby?
One time at the very beginning, we're kind of maybe about 3 or 4 months after we had him, when he started to really liven up and his personality started to come out. We were going on a walk in our neighborhood. We walked by a lady mowing her grass, and she stopped her mower and just started laughing and just looked at us. And she just said, "Your dog is just smiling at me." That's kind of his personality. He just walks around and smiles and is grateful.
I think after he chose you guys as his new family, he was thinking to himself, all right, I'm a social guy. Let's meet and greet everybody.
Oh, absolutely. Which
I think is actually representative of the breed. They're usually giant, happy-go-lucky cuddlers.
Yeah, they are. They're especially our older dog. We like to say she's a lap dog. She'll sit in your lap, and she is 80, 85 pounds.
Yeah, completely unaware that she's so much bigger than the lap.
Oh, absolutely. No sense of her size.
Yeah.
As far as she wants to be in your face, she wants to be loved on all the time. And like right now, I'm sitting at a table and they're both sitting underneath my feet because they want to be next to you and look at you all the time.
Now, I know sometimes she hangs back. So when you go and take him with your GoPro, do you leave the county, the state? Like, how far have you actually traveled away with him?
Since we've had him, the furthest we've gone, we've been to the furthest west in North Carolina to the NC Mountains, and then we've also been to the beach. So we've been really about all over North Carolina. We haven't gone outside of state yet with him.
Okay.
With our older dog, Jinx, we've taken her on trips everywhere. She's
I like her name.
Great car dog.
Yeah, mine thinks he wants to be in the car whenever we're going anywhere. There have been times where he dragged his leash over, like, you're bringing me too,
Absolutely. That's ours will run laps around the car until they find the door to jump into.
He's like, I am going to do an easy replay of how you found me. Hopping back in the car.
Absolutely.
So what would you tell somebody who either hasn't been exposed to pit bulls or maybe currently has a preconceived opinion of them? Like, what would you say? Well,
I guess the two main people that we kind of had to teach and still are, showing, kind of letting them learn their own that perception is my mom, which still has not come around yet, as far as she likes small dogs, and she's just a little bit scared of the size and the stigma she sees in the news.
Right.
And then my girlfriend's mom, just because he's hyper, but she loves the older dog, but since he's more energetic, she kind of had to get to know him too as well. But she won't admit it, but she loves him.
She's like, I'm a closet pit bull lover.
Absolutely. She's woken up in the bed several times where he's crawled in there and cuddled up next to her, and she doesn't make him leave. So it's kind of
he's like, I'm in
undercover. Yeah, absolutely.
He picks his people. He's really smart.
He is. He's one of the smartest dogs I've honestly met. He pays attention to detail.
Was he? How hard was he to train? I know that you guys had to work out essentially the hierarchy, which a lot of people deal with that. I mean, all across the board when it comes to breed. But when you were training him, how easy was it to get him started on, say, like basic obedience?
At first, when we got him, he was 100%. Almost kind of. It seemed like he was trained, but probably because he was just so nervous and just watching and learning. And then when his energy started to come out, he kind of his personality came out. He started doing the dog thing and trying to test all his limits.
Yep.
So
once they settle in, you see the other side.
Teach us some things. He kind of more or less told us that we had to push back and show him that we are the master of the house, as far as you need to sit at the door, when we open it, and not be running up and trying to jump on the couch behind us when we sit down. It took a couple months, but it wasn't tough.
Right.
He may have learned from the older dog because she's extremely well trained.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't really hard at all. I've never had a problem with him running away from me or bugging anyone. Really, I could take both of them off the leash and they'd walk beside me and just ignore everyone else and unless they wanted to go get petted.
Had you ever worked with a trainer before having Dobby?
I have not.
Okay, so that was a new experience for you. Was it? I'm assuming it was a good one because you had a good response and a good result.
It was an excellent one. It was the doctor who gave us Dobby, or found Dobby.
Oh.
She actually hired him for us and paid for it. So it's a guy that came out to our house who specialized in bringing a new pit bull into a home with another pit bull. He is a company out of NC State University and just specializes in pit bull training. And he was great. He taught us things that we never thought about before. As far as different, kind of reading the dog's body language.
Yeah, that's actually a big part of what made our business stand out. Is there wasn't a breed I would turn away. 99.9% of the time, believe it or not, the worst aggression I saw was not in pit bulls. It was not in pit bulls. But what we saw a lot of were dynamic issues where the owners didn't really know how to set up a safe dynamic. So when they brought a new dog in, you would see an emotional unrest in the pack. And sometimes that would result in fights. And sometimes it would result in just growling over things or being protective of spaces. So, the fact that you guys hired somebody that was qualified and knew what was going on, I think it's a testament to this breed and how resilient they are. They're not naturally aggressive. They just didn't really know what to do.
Right. And that's at first when we brought them into the house, before we understood all of it, didn't do much reading up about it or anything, just because our old dog has been wonderful and loves everyone. And we just kind of brought them in, and that's when we realized, we were like, obviously something's going on here. They're kind of feeling cramped or whatever it is. Maybe we need to, ask some advice from someone who actually understands.
Right.
So, we did that. And I mean, when that guy came, within 2 hours, he was already a changed dog. I mean, it was kind of like a dog whisperer thing. It was something wild I'd never seen before.
Once an owner knows what to do, first of all, you'll never run into that problem again because you'll know how to set up the household before the new dog enters. But the other thing is that skill set can be applied over the course of the life. So, say you move somewhere else, you can restore those same principles, because there are situations when you relocate where it's like shaking an Etch-a-Sketch and you're starting all over. And it's not that the dog has forgotten everything. It's that new environment means they're going to try, just like they did the first time, to see what else they can get away with at the new place.
Absolutely. I mean, it's I guess the same way with us when we go off to school, test our limits.
Yep.
It's understandable, but it was that's the kind of stuff he taught us, was stuff that we continue to do.
Mm-hmm.
Just as far as how to, I guess, treat him with accomplishments and also push back when he's, I guess, the stigma of the bully breed of him being a bully and
yeah, they are stubborn. They're definitely stubborn.
They are, but he showed us how to a lot of it, of how to understand when he's saying no and not giving in, kind of like a kid.
Yep.
I mean, it's not much different from what I have to tell.
Yeah, I like to really, when I'm addressing our listeners, I talk about consistency really being the key, because sooner or later they're going to test you. They're going to know what the game is and they want to see if they can win. And I always say you don't want to lose that battle, but you don't have to be forceful to win. You just have to be clear. You have to have a good foundation going, but fully expect that, like a rebellious teenager, they're going to try their limits.
And that was his perception when he walked into the house and told us the first thing he said. I can already tell you, he said, because as soon as he walked in the door, he was like, I want to see y'all's atmosphere, how you treat him, how you handle him, and how he reacts. Mm-hmm. And he said that he said that your new dog has come in and he's starting to claim ownership as far as you've given him everything that he wants. You're allowing him to do what he wants.
Yeah.
So that's it. He kind of taught us how to, and like you said, not aggressively or punish him, I guess, physically, but mentally wear him out. And there was a lot of mental kind of games almost, as far as, by frustrating him that he's not allowed to do it, and then showing him that he
can do.
Well, yeah, and what he can.
Well, I'm really glad that you had that level of success, because some people who don't reach out for trainers and behaviorists, or perhaps they hire the wrong kind of trainer and they use a lot of force methods, that's where you can really kind of eat away at the soul of the dog. You can really change who they are if, first of all, there's no foundation, you're not clear, but you have to have a really good bond and relationship going with them for it to be a long-term fix.
Yeah, well, and that's he came in with a already kind of hurt personality. Mm-hmm. As far as say he was extremely malnourished. When we got him, he was, I guess the vet estimated his age between 2 and 3 based on the tartar on his teeth. And he's about 40 pounds with full-grown size.
So he's little. He's a little guy.
Since he's almost double in weight. He's almost 70 pounds now.
Oh, I was like, he's a light one.
Yeah, well, he was. We came in with the first month, we were almost scared to pet him because we felt like we were hurting him, because you're just basically rubbing on rib cage. And and underneath one of his eyes, it looks like he has a little bit of an indentation in his socket. and like he may have been beat from his prior life as well. So that's one reason why I think he was a little bit scared of.
Yeah, he was probably standoffish, kind of worried about what could happen because of previous experience.
Right. And so that's one thing that we didn't want to continue, as far as we wanted to show him that whatever you've dealt with in the past is, we're not going to treat you that way and you feel comfortable here.
I love that. Okay. So where can people find his YouTube channel?
If you go on YouTube, my username is DickersonM08, and I've got several videos on there as far as, it's kind of something that we've been working on the last year, just adding one here or there. And we got a doggy cam that goes in his back. And, so we GoPro around and, just try and make cute videos of him. And he's a very photogenic dog. So we had a lot of fun.
Well, I will definitely be including the link in the show notes so that people can easily find it. But I'm so grateful that you joined me and kind of shed some light on this breed and how awesome they are. And I'm glad that you guys go on adventures because I'll be following you on YouTube.
Well, thank you for having me. And, like you said, to any of your listeners, I definitely recommend, bringing in a pit bull or having a pit bull as a dog, even with children. They're both wonderful with children. One of our neighbors actually just got a pit bull puppy turned into a therapeutic dog for his handicapped child. And I told him, I said, that's the strong feelings they have of always, caring about their owner. I think it's a perfect dog for that type of thing.
They really are. Mine is actually a service dog. He's 17, so he's retired now, but we used him for therapy work. He's also a medical alert dog. We would run into the thing where people would cross the street because he's so big. He's a fluffy pit bull.
Yeah.
And so he was a lot easier for people to approach given the fact that he was so well behaved. And just like you said, they're so loyal and bonded to their owners. It makes all the difference. They're so motivated to be in your world and as close to you as possible that it can really help things with therapy or, emotional support or service. I mean, I've seen other medical alert dogs or psychiatric support dogs. So I think using them in that capacity will help loosen the stigma that is right now has befallen them, not because they deserve it.
Oh yeah, they are. And kind of like I was saying before, it's from other dogs I've had, my friends' dogs, that aren't pit bulls. They're much more caring as far as, when you're down, they're trying to make you feel better. When you're up, they're jumping around happy and, they're in tune with you 100%. They're absolutely wonderful.
They have a unique, a unique level of bond and loyalty, and they always kind of go off of your vibes. So if you're happy, they're elated, just like you said, and that's fun. I mean, they have giant smiles. They're always wiggling.
Yeah. And I always compare Dobby, especially. He's kind of like his personality and his level of caring is kind of like a toddler, like when I remember going to Dick's Sporting Goods with my dad to pick out tennis shoes, and you try them on and show them how fast you can run, how high you can jump, and you're so proud of it, and and so happy that he'll buy you those shoes, and that's how he is about everything. He looks back at you to see if you saw him how quickly you ran from one bedroom to the other or whatever.
Love that. Well, I'm so glad that you guys found each other and that you were able to resolve your hierarchy discord when you first brought him home, because Big Mama was like, this is my house.
Oh yeah, she owns it.
Yeah, but I definitely want a photo of you guys or just Dobby so that I can add that. And if you want to throw in a photo of Jinx.
That sounds wonderful. I've been requested to send one of Jinx as well because she's our grandma, and she's been one of the best dogs she's had.
You know what? Senior dogs are the best. They're just the best. It's like they know they're retired, so they know when they can get away with more, but they typically are just giant couch potatoes.
Yes, they're both just sprawled out, laying on the floor, soaking up some sun. That's what they always do.
Awesome. I might have you back to the show because I really like Dobby's stories, and I think that we're going to have to definitely plug him on our show notes and when we're doing our social media, because He's just so cute. You have to share him with everybody.
Absolutely. I'll send over a photo of his before and after as well.
Love that.
You can tell the difference in his look of his feelings. So he's a wonderful dog. He's been great.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
If you want to follow Dobby on YouTube, the link is in the show notes, so you can check it out there. If you love our show, please rate it on iTunes. I always include the information on how to do that. And also find us on Facebook. Share it with your friends if you guys have questions, if they have questions, anything dog related, that's what we're here for. It's super easy to get to, just facebook.com/Dog Guru Podcast. And don't forget to subscribe to us right here by clicking subscribe and follow. Then you'll know about all of our newest episodes as they happen, the latest and greatest on all things dog. One more big thank you to Matthew and his dog Dobby for sharing their stories and experiences. I look forward to adding more Pitbull parent stories to our broadcast. So, like I said, stay tuned for that. In the meantime, share the loves, positive vibes. I'm Victoria, your dog guru. Hope everybody is having a great day. Namaste.